Hey, yeah, good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Weems, and this is Business Insights. Today, I'm joined by Jamie Parkin from Gala Technology. How you doing, Jamie?
Hi, Jonathan. I'm good. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, not bad. Could you tell me a bit more about Gala Technology?
Yeah, so Gala Technology, we're a payment solutions company. So we provide anything from your e-commerce websites, it could be a hosted or a direct integration plugin, Apple Pay, Google Pay, virtual terminal. We've got you covered there. But not only that, we've got a award-winning pay by link solution that has really changed the game when it comes to payments. We turned a Moto transaction into an e-com transaction. So that's a unsecured payment into a secure payment.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
All right. Okay. Uh, so you said Moto transaction, and what was the other one?
An e-com transaction. So
Right.
MOTO stands for mail order telephone order. So a bit like an over the phone unsecure payment, and an
Right.
e-com is a secure transaction.
So that's where, like, say, for instance, I have a card machine in my shop or something like that. I take the details and I do like card holder not present.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Card holder not present, yeah.
Okay, and so with what you offer, I'm able to still take a payment remotely,
Yeah,
but
that's correct.
but it's but like I have the protection like, that they're like in front of me. Is that right?
That's correct. So how we create this product is we can facilitate where you can send a text message link to a customer, or it could
Yeah,
be an email. You can still be on the phone to the customer, so it's fully digitally attended. And you can guide that customer through the process. We've got traceability on the link, so you can see the link as it's happening in real time and take that payment without seeing any customer's card details. So the beauty is really you're still taking an over the phone payment, but you're not touching any information, which keeps you guys PCI compliant to the highest level possible.
yeah. Okay, so then how does that come into uh, fraud protection against fraud?
So what we do is we embed 3D Secure onto the payment links. This could be a one-time passcode sent to your mobile, or this could be an online banking request. So it guarantees the customer is who they say they are at the end of the phone. So that's really how we protect them against fraudulent chargebacks.
Great. Okay. So, what's the difference between, say, you and other payment providers? Say it's like Stripe or Shopify.
Yeah, I'd say the main difference with us is we're agnostic. What I mean by agnostic is we're not actually tied to an acquirer. So the beauty of our product is we're just a technology standpoint. So we have the freedom to go out there, get the best partners. And again, this is with some of the big hitters in the game like Cash Flows, Barclays, Elevon, WorldPay. You need a merchant ID to take out our products. And if you use Shopify, if you use Stripe, you're tied to their payments. So whatever they want to charge you, you're stuck with that price. You have to physically do that price. Where we are designed to ask our customers, can we take a look at your payment processing report? And then they'll basically say to us, we're paying this much, and we always acquire them from the customer, hold them up to the light, see where they're paying the most fees, and this is how we'll help our customers. So not only do we provide fantastic technology, but we can also save them money too. And just to put into perspective, we've got a 98% success rate in what we do in saving customers money, and it's usually around 33% on the actual acquiring costs. So
Right.
the savings are pretty significant. Um, so that's what I would generally say that we're different, and that's what keeps us obviously separated from the rest. Where we're cheaper, and I don't mean the product's less desirable or it's less quality. You still get the full benefits as you would from any others, if not more. So there's omni-channel, Apple Pay, Google Pay, the freedom of changing your acquirer a bit like you would your gas and electric bills every 12 months. So you're always on the most competitive rate yourself. And I would generally say that's it.
Right. Okay.
That's what sets us from the rest.
So two types of customers. You've got customers that never taken a payment before. They essentially they let's just say they're business to business. They create invoices. They at the moment they send invoices and they take bank transfers, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they have no ability at the moment to take a card payment.
Okay.
So that's one customer, and then another customer, relatively simple. They have like, say for instance, they have a shop or an online store or something like that, and they're already taking payments and things like that, and they might already have a merchant ID. So what's the difference between the processes of those types of customers to join you?
So I would say a customer that already has payment solutions, um, it's pretty straightforward. So 9 times out of 10, again, we can stay with the acquirer that they already have. So maybe they've signed up for a merchant ID, it could be 12 months ago, and they don't really want to have the hassle of changing the acquirer. It's not a problem. We work with almost every acquirer out there, and we've already probably got that partnership in place where we can just bolt onto that with our payment gateway or our pay by link, whichever it may be. Now, a customer that's hasn't taken payments yet, it's not a problem. We'll guide them through every single step. We'll help them set up and guide them through their first payment if needed. Um, Obviously, acquiring a merchant ID, um, is not a hard process. Again, we can probably have a customer on our side. We can probably, if we have a merchant ID for a customer, we've usually got them set up the same day, and they're able to take that payments in the same day, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's if
recent
they've already got a merchant
If
ID.
they've already got a merchant ID, I would say acquiring a merchant ID, you have to obviously, it's because it's a bank, you have to send over like proof of address, your bank accounts, directors info. So it can be a lengthy process. But I've had merchant IDs come from banks and some fantastic ones. I think one of the great ones was cash flows. This was quite recently. I sent all the information over, had a merchant ID back the next working day, which then allowed me to then set up that customer and ready to go. And vice versa. WorldPay, I've had mids and accounts set up within 2 days.
Yeah.
A really good one close to us, a company in Romarsh, he's been searching for payment solutions for around 6 months, and he's been going absolutely everywhere. Little did he know, on his doorstep, um, we was there to help him and support and guide him, and we had him actually taking his first payment in 48 hours, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously it's easier if you're already taking payments, but the process that doesn't sound that additionally complicated
No, it's not.
if you don't want to take it. I mean, so it's just like providing your director's details, some account details, things like that.
That's correct.
Um, is there a reason why someone wouldn't? Is it like a process where they decide whether you get a merchant ID or not?
It's all about PCI compliance. So people that abuse the right to take payments will get punished. So
Right.
people that are doing unsecured transactions, um, they could be stuff like fraud in the business. Then they would potentially be at risk for not being able to have a merchant ID.
Yeah.
So we kind of help customers and guide customers being PCI compliant, which is the main thing because everybody wants to be able to take payments. Imagine having that taken away from you. That could cripple a business.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, we it's our job really to help people stay PCI compliant because a lot of people that we've actually dealt with, some people just don't actually know they're taking unsecured transactions, and it could be just simple as taking that payment over the phone, writing them details down. They might not know that that's like an unsecured transaction, and they might just keep doing it. It might be what they know, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do. So it's guidance and support more than anything. Um, so yeah,
So Jamie, obviously, I've met you out in networking. I network with lots of small businesses. You're involved in the sales side of Gala Technology. So
yeah.
for small businesses, what would be your advice, your top tips for them finding new clients and working with their existing ones?
Right. Okay. So we've got a motto here, and it's turn every interaction into a transaction. And that's a pretty powerful message. So my top tip would be are you able to take a payment in every single channel that you make? So if you're on social media and you're advertising on social media, why would you not want to be able to take a payment in that channel?
So when you
Um,
take a payment, are you talking about a physical payment, or are we subjective, like a payment is an interaction, is
no,
like a
no, I would say a physical payment. So a lot of people they search for leads. They're interacting with the customers, potentially new clients. People are actually advertising the products on Facebook nowadays.
yeah.
Why would you not want to be able to capture that payment immediately? Um, and that's really what we do. So I would say maybe for a startup business, being able to capture payments on every channel that you actually take. So
So this would be more like, say, for a B2C or someone that's selling a product. Would that be right?
yeah, yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So for a
Yeah.
small business, yeah, I would say usually B2C. Yeah.
Okay. So, like around, let's just say they're like a business to business. So, um, obviously, you're probably aware that obviously business to business, need to build up a relationship.
Yeah.
Um, from your experience, how do obviously you have that initial contact with someone. You might meet them another time. You might eventually have like a sit down with them and stuff like that. Um, but how would you maintain and nurture that relationship?
Um, so we deal with a lot of customers. I'd say we're onboarding anywhere between 30 to 50 customers a month, which is a lot.
Yeah,
Um, and maintaining that. So we have regular Teams meetings. We have face-to-face meetings down in our boardroom. You've been down here yourself, Jonathan.
yeah,
But the main thing is the customer service point from us. So a lot of companies out there, they've all got these ticketing systems. When with me, you've got my personal number. Um, while I'm in work hours, you can call me at any time. We're there to support. Again, like I said, we can come out and visit. Um, so keeping that relationship um, active is very key for us. So we always want to be talking to the customers. And
to
again,
have regular contact with them. It doesn't necessarily have to be about round selling. It could just be asking how business is, or if there's anything.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We're regular in touch with all his customers. So we're always reaching out to them, making sure everything's okay. They're still happy with their product and their service. And it's nice that because we have that agnostic piece as well, where they're not tied to one acquirer. Let's say, for instance, 12 months time, the customer comes back to us and say, well, his rates, we're not really happy with his rates anymore. I'm sure there's better rates in the market. It doesn't just stop there. It's not just about the beginning sale. We're there to the end. So we can then guide them again. If they wanted to change their acquirer, we can guide them through the process again. So the relationship never really ends. We're always engaging with the customer. Um,
And so that's pre-sales, post-sales, etc.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, all right. Well, Jamie, you have this payment system, and obviously there is lots of different systems that people use. They could be selling things online. They could be selling things in the shop. They might have some sort of invoice, system like oh, I can't remember, like Zero or something like that.
Yeah, and QuickBooks.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Who do you integrate with, and how easy is it?
Yeah. So we've got some fantastic integrations. We really have. Steve, our CTO downstairs, he's a bit of a magician when it comes to the integrations. Um, our main one, I would say, is our Zero integration. So this saves accountants so much time and money, because time is money nowadays, and money loves speed. So what we've done is we've become an official partner of Zero, and we allow you to embed your Pay Now button onto Zero. So when you send in an invoice out, it will have a Pay Now button attached on there, which is helping you again take that payment instantly.
Yeah.
But once that payment's done, that automatically reconciles. So the accountants love it. It saves them time again and money. But we've got that integration with QuickBooks as well. So if you're a QuickBook user, But one of our other new integrations is our Apira Cloud, which is our hotel booking system. So, just a quick story for you. There's a hotel in Sheffield. I'll not name the hotel. Um, there was a road worker that his work had overstayed, and he needed an extra night.
Yeah.
But he had 20 staff members, and he was looking to book a hotel room. And he called the hotel, said, "I need to make a booking for 20 rooms." This was midweek, so you imagine when a hotel needs the business the most. Um, the woman's basically said, "Unfortunately, I can't take your payment. I need to refer you to go online." Now, the customer's gone online to go to the hotel, and we see Google as a bit of a pimp. So whoever pays Google the most money gets the best advertisements. So the customer's gone online, type Sheffield hotels, booking, and intent has got the customer. So this has redirected them to booking.com. They've then found a cheaper deal and gone elsewhere,
Right.
and they saved money, saved a few quid. They've managed to take the payment. So what we've done for that customer is we've implemented an integration into their booking system so that they can now take the booking and capture the payment at the same time.
So rather than them not being able to take the payment over the phone, they're able to take the payment over the phone, capture that, capture that in, that business
Yeah,
where when they're on the phone, rather than sending that customer onto the web, onto Google, and then basically them looking at different options, etc.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
Great. Okay.
brilliant.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie.
So thanks for listening to my story there, Jonathan. I love telling stories, and again, I love listening to people's stories. So I would like to know how you got into this line of business.
Yeah, so I mean, my company is called X2X Solutions. It's sort of in its name where it's X2X. Basically, I come from 20 years worth of development in web applications. So I built the front end, the back end, back end, and essentially I've been in every different position of a development team. My last full-on role was as principal um, DevOps engineer for a large finance company. Yeah, and essentially, what I do now as a business is the same as what I was doing when I was working for people. But there's small business out, lots of small businesses out there that are struggling to manage their development costs. When I say like X to X, it's about connecting the finance to the tech of the business. Um, a lot of times, the tech is, they're creating, you've got a platform yourself. You got your payment system where you've got a development team. They're creating the software, and then the finance, they get the billing, and then the finance team go to the tech team. Right, okay, well, I've got this bill here. What am I paying for? And a lot of the time, you have multiple systems. You don't know what is what. Um, so a lot of times, the finance, they're paying a bill that they don't know what it's for.
Yeah,
If you're developing a new project, um, you're obviously from the finance side, you've got a bit of revenue coming through for that. Um,
yeah,
but there's a massive disconnect on basically like what they're paying for, how they assign that to that product. Like it's called like chargebacks and showbacks.
right,
But essentially, how does the finance team know that they're getting value out of those? And that's what I really work to do is to connect the finance and the tech. But it's not just about the cloud costs; it's about the whole development team. So it could be around the different licenses they have, around how they develop things, how they've got standards in place about observability around costs, etc.
yeah,
So yeah, so my real key thing is working with companies that have their own digital product or internal product, and they have a development team.
fantastic. Right, brilliant. So I know you spoke a bit about costs, um, and you said obviously you save money for people who use the cloud. Um, could you give me an example on that?
Yeah. So, for instance, I worked with a client before,
Right.
and they were a financial company, and they were spending $60,000 a month on their cloud
Wow.
costs.
Wow.
Yeah, and so with my help, I essentially cut that bill in half, and it comes down to using using tools as well, to monitor and figure out what we're doing. It comes down to the tagging, because uh, they had lots of different products, and it comes down to tagging to say, right, this is part of this project, and this is part of this environment of it. So then, firstly, you can monitor it, and then the finance team knows what it's there, and then it's looking at, what can we reduce? Can we have we got like things called zombie resources, which are things that are being forgot about, which are things that could be deleted. Right sizing. So are we have we got a big powerful server where we don't actually need that for there? You've got lights on and off. So if you've got a development environment, uh, and you've got that running in the evening and the weekend, there's no point, because there's no one there doing work on there. So you need to have it so it automatically turns it on and off. But there's also more complex things about redesigning redesigning the architecture of an application, where sometimes it may be this would be better to be on like a serverless, called like a Lambda function service. Um, so, there's all different ways, and in my experience, looking at is probably about 30% off the bill by the end of it.
Right. That's impressive. So, so really then, people could generally just be going by their day-to-day business, not even realizing that they could cut these costs. So it's quite impressive what you do. It really is impressive. So, what would happen if somebody doesn't use the cloud then? How would this impact you?
When it comes down to, I work with companies that use development teams.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that don't have development teams that use the cloud. So there might be a video studio or something like that, and they might produce
Okay.
videos, and they would probably be using some sort of cloud storage.
Right.
So my line with that is sort of essentially, there's no point in me working with a company unless they spend over £1,000 a month on their cloud costs.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, even with like using storage, there's you've got different levels of storage based on your access. So
Yeah.
you could get discounts by moving files automatically into uh, low access storage, essentially, where you access, say, something once every 30 days rather than on demand. Um, but on the other side as well, the other companies that I look to work with is teams that have development teams, yeah, or companies that have development teams. They may be using cloud, they may be using some cloud, they may be in like a hybrid environment where they have like uh, some servers, or they may rent servers. Like one of my clients at the moment has DigitalOcean, and they have some stuff in AWS, so they put their backups in AWS. So it comes down to, do they have a development team, really? Because it's all around there, because it's how much they are spending on their GitHub licenses. Have they got, a lot of times people, have they got like an onboarding offboarding process, where I've gone with companies and they're still paying for licenses for people that left
Yeah.
the business like a year ago. um, so it's all around, I work to update the culture as well as looking at those costs.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. So I know you spoke about that the customer recently, but have you got any other recent successes? Anything that you want to shout out about?
Um, yeah, well, I'm working with a customer at the moment. They It's relatively simple, but basically they had, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but they got a thing called IAC, which is infrastructure as code. Basically, what you do now is, for all the servers and everything you want in there, you now define it in code. So then you can so it's static. Yeah, where before people used to go into AWS and say, I want this server and I want this thing here, where this is in a piece of code. So the idea is to run that. If you repeatedly run that thing, you run it in different environments, it would deploy exactly the same thing. So one of the recent successes is that theirs was broken. So obviously, if they're not, because if that's not working, then they're ending up going into there and they're ending up to um, manually make the changes to the server. The script gets out of date, and there's no point in it being there. And then you just go back to square one where everything's hard to manage. So a relatively simple thing is to fix that script, to get them back onto that script, so then they can. I also, by doing that, I added like a development environment for them as well, because they only had production before, but now they've got a, a segregated area where they can test their applications and their deployments before they push them over to production. Um, so yeah,
Nice, nice, very good. That's very insightful. What another question that I do have for you?
yeah.
Let's say, for instance, you've got a customer, ideal customer for you, but they already have a cloud engineer. Do you work alongside them, or how would that work?
Yeah, so I mean, the main thing, as I say, I target mainly companies that already have a development team now, uh,
Right.
and I'm there as an addition. I'm there as someone who is, who could define, who basically can define the projects that we need to look at. I'm
Yeah.
there that I can speak to the C level and say, right, okay, we got these projects. We need to these are the risks of not doing it. These are the costs of this. This is how much the savings will be.
Yeah.
And then I'm completely self-run. So say for instance it ended up being a large project and there was agreement there from the C level. I could go off and help you recruit more developers, or I could go off and find a team to fill in those gaps. Um, and or I could feed those in to your existing team. So I could come in as a consultant and say, right, okay, um, these are the projects that we need to do, and I could feed it into your backlog rather than working on those tasks myself. So it's designed to work around that. Because a lot of the times, smaller companies, I can't afford someone with my level of experience. So it's good for me to come in and not work with them full time. Just work on the areas that I can support their existing development team with.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Thank you for sharing all that with me. I really appreciate it.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, Jamie. If someone was to want to, sorry, if someone wanted to get in contact with Gala Tech, what's the best way to do that?
So you can email me on jparkin@galatechnology.com, or
Yeah.
alternatively, you can just give me a call at 075 348 90627.
Okay.
That's my number.
And I assume you're on LinkedIn as well, yeah?
That's correct. Yeah, LinkedIn, Jamie Parkin. Sure, you'll see this handsome face. But I
Right.
really do thank you for your time, Jonathan. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on to here.
No
Great.
problem.